We're doing more overtime. Overtime increased in 34% of organisations across the country last year. This is according to a survey from Hayes Recruitment. Of those, 32% did so by 5 hours a week on average, and another 33% increased it by between 6 and 10 hours a week. It also found overtime was unpaid in 30% of organisations. Frog Recruitment Managing Director Shannon Barlow joins me now. Morning, Shannon.
Morning.
What does this say about our workforce?
Yeah, well, I guess I'm not really all that surprised. If anything, I was a little bit surprised that the percentage where it was unpaid wasn't actually higher. So, we're in that phase still where we're trying to get more out of our employees, and businesses are trying to drive that productivity, but do so with less. So, fortunately, that puts a strain on our kaimahi or employees.
Is 30% of organisations with unpaid overtime, is that a lot? Because what are the expectations around overtime? I'm sure many employees maybe wouldn't expect to get paid for it if they're asked to stay on a few extra minutes here and there.
Yeah, exactly. So legally, of course, you can't be forced to work more than your agreed hours, and there's concerns if that kind of practice or those pressures are coming through. But often it's a decision around doing what's needed to get the job done. And I think there's been that shift as well for employees wanting to protect their roles, and to think, right, well, I need to, it's time to dig in again as well. So sometimes it's just that personal decision to whether or not to pick up those extra responsibilities and extra hours to make up for time in this post-pandemic world.
Because it's a fine line, isn't it? I mean, you get sick of extra work for no pay for big periods of time. I mean, it could lead to burnout. So you've sort of got to walk the line, don't you?
Absolutely. So burnout is still a major issue for both employees and for businesses as well, and how they navigate that. So businesses are really trapped by some competing pressures. So there's still that need to keep up productivity, and in the clip before, maybe it's about more about survival for businesses at the moment as well. So they might not be able to afford to hire more staff now. But on the other hand, they have to look after their employees, or they can run the risk of losing them either due to burnout, or perhaps they're looking for better conditions elsewhere.
Yeah. Is it something employees should raise before they start? Because it's a bit of a prickly issue over time, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they need to look at, I guess, what's reasonable, and always you'd look to see where that balance. So, if there's big projects or something that needs that extra work to get across the line, most workers will be willing to put that in. But, you don't want to be looking, okay, I'm paid for my 40 hours and this is looking more like 45, 50 pretty regularly. Then that's something that you'd want to raise really early, and just to set those boundaries and expectations between the two parties.
Yeah, 100%. Shannon, good advice. Thanks so much for being with us. Shannon Barlow, Frog Recruitment Managing Director.